Do you often feel bloated, struggle with indigestion, or have a burning sensation around your chest? Well, these are all signs that something's not really sitting well in our stomach. Today I'll explain 8 strategies that you can use to ease your digestion, feel more confident with what you're eating, and all of this is backed by evidence around gastrointestinal health. Hi everyone, I'm Maya, the dietitian, nutritionist, and founder of Nutrition Revitalized. So, food is so central to our day. I hear a lot of clients who come to me with many gastrointestinal concerns, and that essentially impacts their quality of life because now the foods they used to enjoy is no longer giving them that satisfaction or happiness. Instead, it's compounded by feelings of uncertainty, discomfort, and some of them go without eating because they prefer to be that way rather than struggle with symptoms. Now, we'll be looking at some of these easy tips that we can incorporate into our day-to-day meal. So the first tip I've got for you is to take your time to eat. Eat more mindfully. 60% of the digestion happens in our mouth, and in fact digestion starts in your mouth. We've got a lot of different enzymes in our saliva that helps break down carbohydrates and fat. Chewing, what we call mechanical digestion, helps to break food down into smaller particles, decreasing the surface area for better nutrient absorption. This also makes it easier for our intestines and stomach to process food, essentially reducing indigestion or bloating. Eating too fast or talking quite a bit when you're chewing can also cause swallowed air to enter your stomach, therefore leading to trapped gas within your stomach, contributing to the bloating. So keep these in mind the next time you sit in front of your plate. Next up, we want to be aware of the portion of our food. A lot of my clients tend to skip breakfast and combine breakfast and lunch into brunch. This may be easy, but essentially what you're doing is you're letting your hunger build up earlier in the day. You're combining 2 meals into one, therefore your portion size is likely going to be much larger. With a larger portion size, that's going to stretch your stomach walls, causing some tension or pressure within your stomach. Now what this means is with a larger stomach volume, food is more likely to come up to your chest and therefore causing that burning sensation. Why this happens is basically because the walls of our esophagus is not meant to handle the acidic pH of our stomach. So when that acidic combination of food and digestive juices come up towards your esophagus, you get that uncomfortable burning sensation. When this happens over a period of time, it can lead to other medical complications as well. So if you're struggling with reflux, definitely don't disregard these symptoms. Seek some medical advice and also trial the strategies that we're speaking about today. Have small frequent meals throughout the day so that your stomach volume is not as large, and this would also allow for food to empty out of your stomach a bit more quickly. As soon as food leaves your stomach into your intestines, there's no way that's going to come back up towards your chest to cause that problem. Now, speaking about food traveling up and down your food pipe, we also want to talk about foods that make this a bit more likely. Now, we've got 2 valves, one that sits on top of our esophagus and one that sits at the entryway between our esophagus and stomach, so the lower esophagus. This controls the movement of food up and down our intestine. So some foods like caffeine, alcohol, chocolate, peppermint, fried or fatty foods relax the esophageal sphincters, making food more likely to come back up towards your chest. Likewise, there are some bloating triggers as well. So carbonated drinks or sparkling water that naturally have got some carbonation in them, poorly digested carbohydrates, otherwise known as FODMAPs, they feed on gut bacteria, which also produces gas as a byproduct. So these are some foods that you want to consider exploring if you do experience bloating and reflux and if you're suspicious about certain foods. What could help is to maintain a food and symptom diary, recording down what you have eaten against the symptoms you're experiencing, and this will help identify your triggers, the combinations of food that likely set you off, the timing of the day this is likely to happen, and how frequently it happens as well. Next up, we're talking about the gut motility. So any amount of walking or exercise, movement essentially, is going to help move food across your digestive tract. Firstly, avoid lying down after meals. The role of gravity is very important in keeping the stomach acid down and in keeping food down. Try going for a walk after meals. Try and have your heavier meal at lunchtime during the day, because you're likely to have more activity during the daytime rather than at night when you're likely going to be a bit more sedentary. So have your lighter meal at the end of the day. With better digestion, you also reduce the chances of having symptoms like bloating and reflux. Next up, we're talking about fibre. So fibre supports gut motility, stool bulk, feeds gut microbes, and gives that prebiotic effect. So too much fibre suddenly is going to cause your intestines to panic and result in indigestion, or sometimes some people also experience bowel-related symptoms like diarrhea or constipation. So although fibre is good, you want to be really gentle with how you increase your fibre intake. So grade up slowly. Think about nuts, seeds, grains, legumes, fruits and vegetables, and have a mixture of soluble and insoluble fibre in your diet for best results. If you are already struggling with some constipation or diarrhea, then you might want to consult the advice of a health professional to discuss which fibre is going to be best for you, and also to understand why those symptoms are occurring. I would always recommend you try food first. So in terms of a modified fibre diet, trying to play around with the ratio of insoluble to soluble fibre before resorting to medications like laxatives or anti-diarrhea medication. Next up, we've got hydration. So a lot of us either do this really well or don't do it well enough. So fluids are so important for digestion. With enough water, it makes food a lot more easier to pass along your digestive tract. However, having too much water, especially with food, is going to cause our stomach volume to expand a bit further. And as we discussed in our second tip, with a larger stomach volume, food is more likely to come back up towards your chest. It causes your stomach to distend and gives you that feeling of bloatedness or just discomfort. So have sips of fluid when you're having food, and avoid filling up on fluids when you're hungry. So try and spread your fluids across the day. 8 cups is not a standard measure for everyone. So the amount of fluid you require is definitely dependent on your activity level, the country you live in. In a very warm weather, you might have a bit more losses through sweat. And you also want to be thinking about your body weight, because 70% of our body is filled with water. So how much hydration we need is very much dependent on our body weight. And when we talk about fluids, it's not always just water. Other fluids like, soups, juices, milk, teas, all of these also have a certain water component to it. So all of these count towards your fluid intake for the day. Next up, we've got the gut-brain connection. So the gut-brain axis is basically a system that connects our stress and digestion. A lot of us might feel like we have no appetite when we're really stressed, or some of us tend to snack a lot more when we are more stressed. So this tells a lot about how our brain is connected to our stomach and the stress response. Stress essentially activates our sympathetic nervous system, or otherwise known as the fight or flight response, slowing down stomach emptying and reducing blood flow to the gut. So when you don't have enough blood flow to the gut, digestion is certainly much slower, because when our body's in a fight or flight response, digestion is not its priority. It's channeling blood flow to other tissues, more important organs in our body. So digestion is put on a pause. So as food sits longer in our stomach, it increases that feeling of discomfort, causes food to come back up towards our chest as reflux or heartburn, increases bloating and just uncomfortableness. So avoid eating in a distracted manner. Try and be more mindful around how many times you chew, what's on your plate, what you're putting into your mouth. That allows you to be in a more calm state when you're eating, and therefore not activating that fight or flight response. So try this next time. And lastly, we've got movement and posture. So some amount of light activity stimulates peristalsis, whether this is incidental activity or just recreational activity. Peristalsis is basically the movement of food throughout our gut through those muscle contractions. So basically what I'm showing, that's what happens throughout our digestive tract to help move food prior to digestion and post-digestion from our esophagus all the way down to our rectum. So this allows for better emptying of food out of our stomach. And try and sit upright when you're eating. Tight waistbands around your waist or slouching can loosen our esophageal sphincter, so that's the valve that sits between the end of the esophagus and the start of the stomach, causing food to come back up towards our chest. So think about these tips. A lot of them are interrelated. Eating more mindfully, chewing well, trying to have small frequent meals, thinking about the fibre in your meals, getting some light amount of activity every day for that peristaltic effect, reducing foods that are more likely to cause bloating or reflux, incorporating fibre into your meal, getting some amount of activity during the day, and thinking about the stress that you have, especially around eating and sitting down without a distraction during mealtime. I'd like to also state that what I've shared today is for general information only and not a substitute for personalized medical advice. If any of your symptoms persist or start to bother you, definitely speak to your doctor about this. Now, I'd love to hear what your biggest gut challenge is: bloating, reflux, or indigestion. Comment down below, and I'd love to also hear which of these you found most helpful. I'll see you in the next video. Bye-bye.